Taking no shorts. Coming right up.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Now I gotta talk, we all gotta be quiet. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
And now your host, Taking No Shorts podcast, Jay Grizzy.
I mean the way that the streaming platform set me up tonight, it was like, yo, you could add different colors to your stream, and you can do this and that and the third with your stream. And as soon as I do the shit don't work, y'all. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 127 of Taking No Shorts podcast. I'm your host, Jay Grizzy Green.
Exactly.
AKA Mr. Leave No Meat on the Bizone.
Exactly.
AKA Wanda's son.
Exactly.
AKA Jenny's grandson.
Exactly.
AKA my wife's husband.
Exactly.
And my kid's dad.
Exactly.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast, but also every Friday around this time. You can catch the live stream at the following streaming channels. That's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, all at Taking No Shorts Pod. That's spelled phonetically at the bottom. Chiron, help me reach my goal on the YouTube. I'm trying to get into that YouTube algorithm because that's where the bread at. Episode 127, I start out by saying my name, my back, eat my and my crack. There's a lot of dudes out here getting their crack. It's going to be an interesting episode tonight. I got a lot to get into, so bear with me. Let everybody know what is coming forward, and then you can tell your friends on social media, hey, check out Taking No Shorts podcast. He finna talk about that. If you got a take, don't short me on it. Give me your whole take, pause, but give me all you got to give as a take on Taking No Shorts in the comments, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Representing the RVA to the fullest. I'm a little thrown off because of the way the show started off. Like they messed up my they messed up my intro, but that's because I'm partial to it. I had to take I missed last Friday. It's the first Friday in about 12 months I missed recording or shooting an episode of Taking No Shorts Pod. And there's a story behind it. I know the audience don't care, but I know I have loyal listeners and viewers. They're owed this. And somebody asked me, they was like, what happened to you last week? And I was like, yo, if you live anywhere in the RVA or the DMV, you know, about 10 days ago, we had, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a snowstorm. I call it an ice blizzard because what the hell happened was crazy. I mean, it was snow. I mean, and the snow in the Mid-Atlantic is, you know, it happens, but And I had on the episode 126 where me, Marcus J, and Carlton Banks was talking about the last big snow we had here in RVA, to where all the hullabaloo was like this. And they both said concurrently 1996 is 30 years ago. But if you go back to 96, Richmond had a crazy snow total, and let's just say the inmates ran the asylum.
Exactly.
Yeah, you did. So so fast forward 30 years, we're here in 2026, and they forecasted all of this snow. And back in my college years in 96, I'm just getting back from Brooklyn to Richmond, and all this Richmond street drug gangster culture was still kind of fading away, but it's still around. And I was never into that, but none of my friends was. We wasn't street, we wasn't in the street like that. But yeah, that was a crazy snow, because I mean, I think it was like 2 feet of snow, and 2 feet here is crazy. Somewhere up in New York or Boston or New England or somewhere in the Midwest, 2 feet of snow, Chicago, is no big deal. That's something y'all still gonna function. 2 feet of snow here is fucking Armageddon, you dig? So we had that snow a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't just snow, it was snow, and then it turned to heavy, heavy, heavy ice. So, and I'm not talking about that Nazi, hold on, let me make sure I say that right so don't get me off the internet. What do they say that now? Noodles? What's the euphemism now so you don't get banned or shadow banned off the internet for calling out those guys? But the meteorology form of ice on top of snow, and I'm sure they'll come up with another government program for snow. So yeah, we got a lot of ice, and so being a homeowner, being a responsible adult, a responsible citizen, I'm like, yo, let me prepare. Now, I didn't do all of me, even my wife didn't do all the what they call panic preparing. Because honestly, if you want to be honest, God, oh shit, I almost knocked my goddamn camera down. Shit. And let me fix my fucking everything right now, because I'm a little bit extra. My collar look like Elvis Presley, But no, we didn't panic. And honestly, we don't know what panic is, because most of us over the last 30 years, and I'm saying, if you was born in 1996, this year, you'll be 30.
Exactly.
That means you were 5 when 9/11 happened. You were 2006, so 5, and add another 5 years to that, or 7 years to that. You was 12 when the mini recession, the economic recession, the Bush recession, the Bush depression happened. Like, what context do you have to panic about anything? Like, when I was a kid, I'll give you an example. When I was a kid and I saw somebody, and this is growing up in the hood, when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I saw a hood fight, and I saw somebody walking down the street holding their head because it was leaking, because either somebody washed them, somebody I think they might have got stabbed or macheted in the skull, to be honest. That's how y'all want to talk a lot about boomers. But I'm not a boomer. I'm a Gen Xer, you dig?
Exactly.
But y'all want to talk a lot about folks who are past their prime here in 2026, but there's something to say for experience. And so for the young folks, you don't experience a blizzard or an ice storm until you actually experience it. So next time when an ice storm comes, you know what to do. You did?
Holy Jesus.
And so when I was about 7 or 8 years old, somebody in the neighborhood got in a fight with a lady. For real, it was a lady on the corner of Main Street and Shields. So back in the 70s or early 80s, even though that part of RVA is gentrified now and built up, I think they sold the property that we used to live in for $500,000 or close to $750,000. Get to that a little bit later in the podcast. By the way, I grew up in a rat field. I got raised in a rat roached field shack in the RVA in the late 70s, early 80s. And then you fast forward 30 years later, they sold it for about $750,000. And y'all want to know why folks is tight right about now. I mean, I said tight, I mean mad. You did.
Exactly.
But no, we had this ice storm, and being a responsible adult, husband, family guy, allegedly, I say, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we're prepared. Not on some with the news, because I checked out the news November 4th, 2024. Been checked out the news. Y'all still watching traditional media for your information. You might as well go ahead and read fucking nursery rhyme book for news. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall type shit. You know, day is in on it. I don't want to do conspiratorial because this episode is going to go a lot of ways because I pregame. I'm going to let y'all know off rep. I pregame for this podcast tonight because I missed last week. So if you're within an earshot of my voice, or if you're seeing me on your social media, make sure you like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, share it. What I'm going to talk about tonight, hey, the snow and the ice that we just went through, the political escalation that was done probably over the last month. We're in February, so the government gave us Black History Month. I'm going to speak on that. The distraction perspective and where the F are we in these times. I'm going to bring that all together for you folks. If you want to get in the chat and let me know how y'all feel about what I'm talking about, by all means, at Taking No Shorts Pod, at Jay Grizzo on Instagram, and Jay Green on Facebook. And then last but not least, I have my take on the Super Bowl. Being a Black Gen Xer, the Super Bowl here in 2026 don't mean after me because I had first, my Steelers are no longer in the fight. We just went into a new coach. I will save that for another day. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll save that for another day for a conversation. But I want to know how y'all did with this new snowstorm that we got in the last week and a half. And I think I know. I ain't spoke too much tonight. I know. We got snow today here in the RVA. Not that much, but it's just like, yo. And then on top of that, like the main roads was good. The main roads, but I could not get out of my neighborhood, my subdivision. And I felt some kind of way about that. And I saw after about 2 days of it, of the precipitation, I said to myself, let me take a look. Cause I heard it coming down. I said, this shit don't sound good. It's snowing. Then it sound like that sleet, ice hitting the window pane and all that. Like, I'm like, yo, this is nasty. It's nasty work out there. And I'm saying to myself, episode 126, I got my homeboys Marcus J and Carlton Banks in before the precipitation started. So if you want, you can go back and watch that episode. But that was shot on a Friday. It was a live stream. And then that Saturday is when the snowstorm started. And then it went into Sunday or whatever. But the cold temperatures was like Alaska.
Exactly.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
I ain't never seen nothing like it. And since 96. I ain't seen nothing like it since 96. But everything was an ice skating rink in my neighborhood. My driveway, I got a long driveway. And it was treacherous. And so I got to about Wednesday of that week when I started kind of like pregame for the upcoming week's episode. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, you know, I didn't lose power, thank God. So you got to count your blessings. But then I'm like, yo, I need to get this ice out of my driveway so we can go do, my wife and I can go get out and get food, make money, etc. And so I go out, I'm thinking in previous, again, 96, 2026, that's 30 years. I want to say 2016. Yeah, I want to say 2016. We had a good snow here in the RVA in Richmond. I want to say we had a good snow. I remember because my wife took a video of us walking through the snow. So 2016 was a good snow. But this was different. That snow was powdery. You could easily move if you just, had a shovel and a good back pause. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying pause about a good back, but true horsemen know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this was different. This was ice and snow, but more ice than anything. So after all this precipitation accumulated, I go out and I say, let me tackle this shit because, hey, we got to move these cars so I can go out and, the plug can get to me or I can get to the plug, whether it's the state or non-state. I need to get to the ABC stove because if I'm going to be locked in the house with the fam for like this, I got to function. So I'm like, yo, I got to get out this house. Cabin fever is not going to kick in. So I need to go out here and get rid of the ice in the driveway. And there's snow in the driveway. And I go out and I feel like I'm in the Winter Olympics. Shout out to the Winter.
Exactly.
Open ceremonies, by the way, tonight on the Winter Olympics, I think in Milan, Italy. Never watched the Winter Olympics, by the way. Brothers don't do the Winter Olympics, except for the Jamaican bobsled team. That's an old reference. That's a Gen X reference for you. So take that as you want. So I go out with 2 shovels. One is like a spaded shovel. I get some good digging for gardening or whatever. The other is a traditional snow shovel. And I go out and I chip I go out and I dig into the snowpack, and I'm like, oh shit, this feel like refrigerator ice. Like this is ice. This is vanilla ice. This is doom 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 doom. This is unforgettable ice. This is ice skating ice. This is hockey ice. This is the shit they put. Whatever happened in Richmond was the shit they put down for ice hockey. And you need a Zamboni. What is it called? Anybody hit me in the comments? Let me know what it's called. A Zamboni for that shit to get that shit up. And so I'm doing it. I'm chopping away at it, but I know as I'm chopping away at it, I'm in my head like, this is not a couple of hours. This is not a 2-hour gig. Like this is some
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Yeah, I was like, by about 15 minutes in, I was like,
That nigga's tripping.
I was sure enough, Westbrook. I was like, yo, fuck this. This shit is ridiculous. I'm not going to do another 50 feet of driveway, and I only got 3 feet done. I'm chopping. I'm at it. I'm like going at it. So I come in the house. I take off all the layering and winter clothing and shit like that. And I call it a night. I say, you know what? I'll try again tomorrow. They ain't calling for no snow all week, so I'll try again tomorrow. But because the temperatures were so cold, there was no melting for like a week. So whatever ice fell that weekend, that ice stayed there all week unless you was chopping at it. And I chopped at it for like an hour, came in the house. I think I watched the AFC, NFC championship game that weekend. Heard my son and my homeboy bitch you could play because they teams lost, but I'm not going to play on their misery.
That nigga's tripping.
I just say, you know what, I'm going to call it a night. You know, I did what I could. I'll try again. Maybe it'll soften up. I don't honestly, to keep it a bean with y'all, I didn't even look at the forecast when they said it was snowing, when it was the ice storm was coming. Like, and my dad gets on me all the time. He was like, yo, before you doing it, he old school boomer, right? He like, yo, I look at this weather forecast before I do anything. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't, you know, because weather ain't going to affect me that much. He was like, well, here go a call back to, well, you don't know until you experience it. If you experience some bad weather sometime over your lifetime, you'll know to prepare for every and anything. So shout out to you, Dad.
Exactly.
Because I was like, yo, snow, 96 snow I did, no problem. But then again, I had to go nowhere, you know. He was like, nah, you need to look at the forecast and see what the weather gonna be like that day. Cause you do not know how shit gonna go. And I was just like, okay, well. So 3 days before this storm, I want to say it was on a Wednesday. The storm coming on a Thursday. I'm sorry, the storm is coming on weekend. So that Wednesday, I'm looking, just scrolling through the time, like, cause who the fuck gets their news off the regular news anymore? They is in on it. I'm here to tell you guys, if you watching regular traditional media for your news, everybody in on it. Well, I can't say everybody's in on it because that's gonna sound crazy, but who can you trust these days? I'll get to that. during the rest of the podcast as far as information, because everybody got ends to some form of information, right? So you got to pick and choose what you believe. Anyway, Dad is like, yo, watch the weather forecast. So I watch the weather forecast. Wednesday, I see they calling for snow over the weekend. And I'm like, okay, tell the wife, hey, tell my wife, not the my. Tell my wife, let's get groceries, make sure that I'll make sure everything else is straight. As the forecast goes along, they saying ice. Ice means ice in the meteorological sense is like, yo, trees can fall, you're gonna lose you're gonna lose power. If you go back to episode 126, we was talking about generators, because I went on ahead and copped a generator, which, you know, it was something that I was, if you're a homeowner, you should always have some backup power in the event that you lose power. So I was just like, all right, I'm going to go get a generator. But this is Wednesday before they tell the whole region that a storm is coming. I couldn't find a fucking generator within a 30-mile radius of my city, of my town, let alone a 100-mile radius. You have to go on. Everything is online. Let me say this. I'm gonna eat my cashew real quick. I'm gonna take a sip of my water. But I'm gonna tell y'all this about them forcing people to do shit through technology. Give me one moment. That's some
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
It's totally bullshit. Sometimes you got to lay your eyes on something to purchase it. You cannot trust a website. You cannot trust an image. You cannot trust a video. Shit can be manipulated. So I don't understand how e-commerce convinced most Americans you can buy something online and you're going to get what you want. If these Temu or Shine or whatever, all these companies are Fugazi companies, you don't know where the fuck you getting your shit from. I bought something online one time for my vehicle because it could not be found in an auto parts store. And all the auto parts stores was like, just go online and order it. And when I did my due diligence, I'm an intelligent black man, you did?
Exactly.
I was like, yo, here's the part, consulted with my manufacturer, here's the part number, here's the manufacturer number, blah, 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 blah. This is what I want. I got it, and it came from overseas. This shit don't work. Shit was fugazi. So I'm still of the mindset, or still from a play era where certain things I still got to go lay eyes on to purchase. You know, they got. I mean, I know. I mean, there's a company now where you can buy the car without even test driving it or seeing it, or you can see it online. You ain't got to test drive it. You buy it online. They let you keep it for 30 days or whatever the time frame is. If you don't like it, you can turn it in. You're like, who the fuck won't go through all that? Like who are y'all tricking? I mean, I guess, all right, you're tricking people who can afford to do that. So it ain't tricking if you got it. I get that part. Like some cat that's making some type of bread could say, hey, I need a new whip. I need a new vehicle. I don't need to go through the sales process or doing that. Let me go online, look up everything I want, and just order it right there. They send you the car. Hopefully you happy with it, and that's that. But what if you're not? You done went through all that. Like, you paying for, I don't know what the value is in that. Anyway, I go out, I do that. I go try to chip at this ice. And I come in the house and I was like, that's a motherfucking that's some thick ass ice out there. You know? That ice is deep. I mean, pause. It's thick. It's not. It's like a layer. It's like if you dealing with, if you in this phase of getting up ice or snow, there's layers to the shit. There's that upper crust, right? Where it'll let you chip at it. It'll let you get to it. It'll let you get to it, and you get it. But it ain't all the way gone. Now you go into the second layer, and that shit is thicker. It's thicker than, pause, it's thicker than the upper layer because it's frozen longer. And that shit is like a brick. Like, you can't get through that. And then in some cases, it's thicker than that. So it's like 3 layers of ice I had to get through just to get my wife's car out the fucking driveway. So that was on a Friday, Saturday night. I said, you know what? Oh, I'm sorry. Kick this. I'm always kicking the camera, so I'm sorry, guys. So I was like, all right, that's enough. I'm going to come in the house, have a beer, lay down, watch some football. Boom. I wake up the next morning and I felt something so crazy in my back.
Exactly.
I felt a spasm when I walked.
Talking about practice.
No, we're not.
Not a game. Not a game.
This
not
was
a game.
the game.
We're talking about practice. Not a game.
I told myself I was a...
Holy Jesus.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I told myself that. But my back was like, hold on, let me find it. That's what my back was saying. It was like, what the fuck was you thinking? Because I was done. And anybody that has dealt with back pain, back spasms, back anything back is wrong. It's just think. Anybody say you owe back taxes, back child support, back, anything from the back, pause. Ladies, I don't know. Y'all gonna have to hit me up in the chat. Anything from the back, though. My back was done. And I ain't never had this type of back problems ever in my life. Until now. As a black Gen X was shoveling snow in 2026, or snuffling, trying to get up ice, because it wasn't even snow. That shit was snow-packed ice. Let's be clear. So I get up that Sunday night, maybe to, do some bathroom, walk up the stairs or whatever, and that's just spasm up on me. I was like, wait a minute, what is that? What? This pain is unrecognizable. Like, this pain is different. Like, this pain make me want to try some narcotics. Like, what is going on with my back? And I took, some over-the-counter medication and some a hottie toddy, something. I told my wife, I was just like, yo, my back is fucked up. All right. I felt I put out a song that said I felt like I was Lex Luger putting a torture rack. I'm a pro wrestling fan. Oh, not a wrestling fan from today's time. I'm a wrestling fan from back in the day. So if you knew Lex Luger, he had the torture rack. It was a back move where he made you quit because he broke your back, Paul. But yeah, I was like, yo, my shit is hurting bad. And I even had to cancel the show because I didn't know when the spasms was gonna come. Paul, I didn't know when the spasms was gonna happen. You know, like I could be like if I had did this show 120 episode 127 last week when this was going on in the middle of the podcast, I might have did one of these. Oh, because the spasms just hit out of nowhere. You know, I'd have came up out the shark skin shoot. I debated about the shark skin tonight. It's been a while since I wore the shark skin because it's a little metallic. It don't go against the backdrop or whatever. But I was like, yo, I don't want to wear it. You know, I got listeners now, people that watch the podcast. I want people to say, nigga, you wore that suit last week.
Exactly.
But I got more suits than you do. Or suit jackets, put it that way. So yeah, I postponed episode 127 from last week because I was in some serious pain. And I didn't shot taking those shorts through sickness and health. But last week it could have not been done. So for the folks who might have been wondering what had happened, I had somebody say, what happened? You know, I saw you, I kind of intimated to what was happening because one of the days me and Obi went out in the driveway and I recorded it, shot it, edited it and put it out. And just showed like, this shit is great. Like the ICE situation was crazy. Speaking of ICE, I'm gonna get to this for y'all. I don't know if y'all remember. I remember 1990. Yeah, I graduated from high school. There was this movie called Ghost. Patrick Swayze, God bless the dead. Whoopi Goldberg, or who I call to my family, Moppy Goldstein.
Exactly.
And Demi Moore. This movie called Ghost. Whoopi Goldberg plays fortune teller, soothsayer type. Oda Mae Brown. She thought Demi Moore lost her husband, wanted to talk to him, use Whoopi as a medium. And Whoopi said to her in the movie, if you know, as a black Gen Xer, if you don't know, you're dead.
Exactly.
She say, Molly, you in danger, girl. And I'm telling you, if that's not a metaphor for the United States of America, Molly, you in danger, girl. And that's coming from a black man, light-skinned black man, but skin tone don't matter. Black man. And the reason why I say that, when people can understand why I say that, is because people don't understand like where we are. Like today, like there are things that are happening that I, again, like I said, I checked out the news November 4th, 2024. And they be trying to, because, I watch movies, I got a lot of streaming channels or whatever. They be trying to pull me back into the major news outlets. And I'm just like, I can't. Y'all is just y'all in if you don't call out what is happening in the country, you are complicit. At the end of the day, you did that. It has come to the point now, especially after Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, where you now, as an American, they have put people, Americans, and I was born after the civil rights movement. So we were the first generation to kind of like be the test tube babies on what the country, what the culture would look like after civil rights, after the 60s. And we saw, I could tell you, I went to school here in Richmond, Virginia, to a desegregated school. Matter of fact, it was probably 50-50. When I say 50-50, I'm talking about white people, white kids and black kids from kindergarten to fifth grade. So kindergarten is what, 5? Fifth grade is what, 11, 12? So 5 to 12-year-olds. So I grew up, hung out, spent time, integrated with white kids, way better off financially than me. Whether we got bused, we had to walk, whatever, just because of the civil rights movement. Like I came up, and as kids, you really don't, unless your parents are like super duper racist to tell you about racism or whatever, or the difference between the races, or indoctrinate you. You're just an innocent kid going to school. So none of the white kids that I went to school with was on. I didn't experience that. Even as a kid, maybe the teachers might have, but I was just too young to know if the teachers was like that. I just didn't know. I just was lucky. I don't want to call it lucky because it's almost like a dig to say that you lucky that you didn't experience like what our parents experienced, the boomers or that previous generation experienced in that Jim Crow shit. Because if I experienced that Jim Crow stuff, I didn't know I was experiencing it, which is indicative or an indictment on my education or who we were or the lack thereof. But in the late 70s, early 80s, like all the white kids that I went to school with was fair. There was they never said the N word to me. I never heard the N word from them. Maybe their parents taught them, hey, if you're gonna be around them, don't say that. we'll say it in this house, but don't say it. Okay, that might be the case, but I never experienced that. But I knew that from our circumstances that was there. You know, I knew that we lived on the other side of Main Street in the Fan. I knew we was on government assistance as opposed to the white boy that wasn't. I knew we had, all the socioeconomic things that comes about during the Reaganomic years. I knew. Even in RVA, I knew what it was. Fast forward 40 years. And here we are. Molly, you in danger, girl. And historically, I know what that means. But I don't know if the country or people understand what reconstruct. Like, I want to do a call back to what I think I said earlier, where you don't know a lot of stuff until you experience it. So, like, the country is America is so, because of the civil rights movement and integration, Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, Black people, African Americans, but there was not a threat. But there's this thread of America that has always. It's like Montezuma's revenge. It was like a bad. It's like taking bad cough syrup or something. Like, as much progress as we as a country make, and when I say we, trust me, I was born here. My peoples was born here. My people were free indentured, born here. So, and that's not to say they won't, because free and indentured doesn't mean anything. People who kind of know would know if you're a historical people, but that don't take nothing away from being born into chattel slavery either. Because I got people that was born into chattel slavery as well. And so I just think the country is more of an education thing, because they got so far removed from who they are, where they came from, and what the capacity of the white power structure has done. And I said this back in 2024 during the election, when I was doing a lot more political stuff during the election last year, 2 years ago, because I was a supporter of Kamala Harris and wanted her to win. But it's something to say, like, if you don't know your history, you're doing to repeat it. And people forget. I mean, I don't blame 350 million Americans. Let's say the voting public is 140, 70. Let's say 140 million Americans do not give not one fuck about what happened back in the late 1860s or the 1870s, which was 150, 160, 170 years ago. It'd be stupid for me to expect 140 million people, let alone white people, to remember that. I know the white Southerners remember. It's called the Lost Cause. They don't forget it. If living in Richmond, Virginia, up until 2020, they never let us forget it. Because there were monuments put on this avenue every 3 or 4 blocks to let us not forget it. And even as I grew up and went to a desegregated school, and my white friends didn't call me the N word to my face and didn't besmirch me or nothing like that. As a black man, as a black young boy growing up here in Richmond, Virginia, anytime I traveled on that street, I saw this huge ass fucking statue, some white man on a horse. Oh, what the fuck is this? Who is this? Robert E. Lee, Jeb Stewart. Who else was on that joint? Stonewall Jackson, Jefferson Davis. Who the fuck is these people? Went to college, learned about it and all that. And I'm like, yo, man, this shit is entrenched. But fast forward to 2026, 140 million Americans could give two. They don't give a fuck. They could give two kumquats. Let me get to some of my comments here. To the homie, Shah E, that the slavery has not ended, it's just changed in the way it looks, quote unquote, looks to the common man. It's just a common man. You Dusty Rose ass nigga. And shout out to the sister, Kay. She say, good evening. Good evening. Yeah, back to my point. So here we are in 2026. And B being a history guy, putting stuff in perspective. I'm like, I said it back in 2024 during the election season. Like, for us, this is not new. Our people, our forefathers, our great grandparents, our great grandparents lived through this. If they didn't, we wouldn't have been here. How did they get through it? Right? Like, how did Big Mama and them come through Jim Crow? How did Big Mama and them come through slavery? How did Big Mama and them come through repealing the Voting Rights Act? Like not being able to vote. How did they feed you if they didn't have a job enough to feed you off the money that they could get? Like, how did they make it happen? But yet and still, they made it happen. And hence why we are here. Hence why their great-great-grandson or their great-great-granddaughter or their great-great-great, depending on how many generations you go back to, if you do the work, you can see. But we here. And it wasn't because of some fucking anomaly. Like some divine hand said, hey, bro, you're going to be here in 2026 to see everything that happens in America. How you going to deal with it? Well, this is what I did. This is just me. This is just your home. Let me have an almond. Let me sip some of my water before I tell you. Before we go to the next subject. Because Molly, you're in danger, girl. Go watch Ghosts. Love that movie, Ghost. Okay, I took you to see Ghost. Great movie. When Demi Moore was making The Pottery with Patrick Swayze, and the Everly Brothers was singing, oh, my love. Very romantic movie. But Molly, you're in trouble, girl. Mali is the USA. So yeah. What did our folks do when the Ku Klux Klan was riding through the countryside threatening to burn up they shack and their kids and everything like that? You know, because we probably lived in shacks and straw beds and eating coons and squirrels to survive. They weren't happy with all that. They like, here we are. They done turned on their own. They going up to Lily White, Minneapolis in the Midwest under the guise, and I'll get to the distraction stuff in a minute. Because they distract on a lot of stuff. We're living in a very, very wicked world. And it's so sick. Like it's hard to fathom. It's hard to fathom. And it makes you wonder, like, what I think Dr. King said, I fear that we integrating, and I'm just paraphrasing the quote, I fear that we are integrating our people into a burning house. And as Black Gen Xers, you did,
Exactly.
we got to put that in perspective, like, because we got to make money, we got to take care of our kids, we got to take care of our family, we got to do, but we in a burning house. What do we do in a burning house? Well, when I came up, they stop, drop, and roll, goddammit.
Exactly.
You had to stop, drop, and roll. We ain't, let me tell you, people, we should be in a position to have some influence on what the fuck is fitting to come down this pike. But we got feckless leaders, feckless political leaders, which just hold on. I'm on. Hold on. Where's my reversal? Let me get the record scratch. This motherfucker said you can't bring a weapon. You can if you're gonna have a weapon. This is a Second Amendment. These folks were Second Amendment nuts. Then they telling you can't bring a weapon. You can't bring a weapon somewhere. Shai, no, I'm not. No, that's a super pause, my nigga. Like I'm never gonna be saying that. Oh, I mean, almonds, bro. So I let it out. Nuts, stay almonds. Season. I mean, I don't even know who's paying attention. I mean, I'm only paying attention to the political situation in the country because it's hard to ignore. They flood the zone so much. They flood the zone so much to where it's hard to ignore. And then you can't, like, when you see armed federal agents coming to people's doors, knocking on them, asking them for their papers. Okay. Who called that? Who said that y'all need to be doing that? Well, apparently 77 million Americans said that they was okay with that. They said it was okay with that back in November of 2024. hear now some of them saying, I ain't vote for all that.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Stand on what the fuck you voted for. You said that's what you wanted. He told you. But then afterwards, he said, well, you can't walk around on our people with no weapon. Fuck the Second Amendment. If we walk up on you and you got a weapon, your Second Amendment rights don't matter. So you see what I'm saying? Like, y'all some suckers. Every supporter of this guy is some stone cold suckers.
I'm a man.
Perfect.
Because if you, hear my logic out for a moment. If somebody pits you against somebody else, the somebody is the decision maker. They pitting you against somebody else. What happens when the decision maker pits themselves against you? What?
Exactly.
I mean, I just want to know what happens when the people that call the shots puts you against you. I thought the misinformation is crazy. I could go all night, guys. I could go all night. There's not enough weed and alcohol to keep me on this live stream tonight. As I'm going to bed, I do not wreck my brain over this. I just, because I had to come up with something to talk about tonight. And I know, and I don't want to be clickbaitish, but I know the audience checks for this shit. And there's a lot of people making, let me say this. There's a lot of people making a lot of money off of the calamity that's been happening. There's this guy, this content creator, that in the first half a second, he's breaking news. That's the buzzword. You go on your timeline and you see me in my shark skin suit, say breaking news, you're going to stop. You might not everybody going to stop, but a lot of people going to stop. Because all I got to say is breaking news. God damn it. And after that, it don't matter. I got your interaction for my algorithm to pay me. Let's get to the Black Scorpion. We black people have let each other down ever since civil rights. When we killed MLK, when they killed MLK, they knew that there were great chances that the killing would set us back generations. They so evil. Well, yeah, I agree with that, Scorpion. And calculated. Here's what I'm like, yo, just take over the broadcast airways and show a tape. What's the difference at this day and age? Just show a tape of one of these douchebags doing some heinous shit to somebody. Because, I mean, it's all in the goddamn files. It's all in the goddamn, and then they trying to cover it up. It's like, why do you? It is so much bullshittery.
A bullshit?
It's hard to fathom. It's hard to fathom. And it's a lot of it is not of us. Honestly, it's not of us. Black people ain't fucking. Let somebody tell us. Somebody is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe short of. I don't want to besmirch some communities, so I'm not even going to say it. But let somebody tell somebody in our community that person is a PDFer. What you think gonna happen? We know what's gonna happen. We have no. One of the things I talked to a homeboy. I got into a situation where racism and power is the ability to affect stuff on top of racism is a very, very so black people can't, African Americans can't, and it's impossible, as the French would say, impossible. No black man, the richest black man, Bob Johnson, whoever the fuck the richest black man is today, cannot institute an institution of racism on white people or non-black people or non-people of color. It's impossible. You got to have an infrastructure in place. And not only do you have to have an infrastructure in place, you got to have an infrastructure in place for about 250 years come July 4th this year. That's then when you can affect some shit. But in the meantime, we just here. And while we just here, we need to protect what we got. What our ancestors died for, fought for, protected for. We need to protect ourselves away from the, like, I'm not a boomer. I didn't grow up in Jim Crow. I can understand why they did what they did. When I'm walking in the desert for about whatever the miles I need to walk, kilometers I need to walk, and I'm thirsty, I'll take a drink. I'll take a drink from the first motherfucker that offer me one. Okay? Because I'm in the desert and I'm thirsty, goddammit. You done held the water away from me and I'm thirsty. So it's innately my human character to be like, I need something to drink just to survive. But we know that, hey, we black folk, African Americans in America, black people in America, we're not just here to survive. We built this shit. Without us, they wouldn't have had shit. They would not have had now motherfucking thing. And they killed, let's say, 200,000 of their own white boys in a civil war to make sure of that. I mean, the numbers I might get confused. But look it up. People don't understand that there are people in this country that are willing to go to war for their belief. They did it 160, 70 years ago. They willing to sell out their sons. They willing to say, I'll take my oldest and my next to oldest son, send them to war to fight to make sure somebody like me wasn't a slave. Or make sure somebody like me was a slave, I'm sorry. If they had it their way. But, humanity and God has a way. This is the other thing. Like, I'll get to the Christian part about this in a little bit. Because Molly, girl, you're in danger. You're in danger. How do these Christians? I got a Christian. I'm in Virginia, so let's not be confused. As a Christian, I got a Christian church every 2-mile radius of where I'm at, where I live. Two. That's 3,000 feet. Oh no, 6,000 feet. I don't know how many steps that is, but I could walk those steps and I could be in a Christian church. And let me tell you, that Christian church is supporting everything that this federal government is doing. Everything. And you want what? How does that supposed to sit with your congregation? If you not every Sunday going into your pulpit and preaching the word of Christ. Christ didn't say roll up on your neighbor and take their kids and put them in a concentration camp with no due process under the guise of political righteousness. Who are these people? Who are these Christians? Man, I'm telling you, boy, we is living in some crazy ass times. And they didn't escalated it. Because as a black Gen Xer, you could not have asked me, hey, let's say back in the Bush years, let's say 2002. Like Bush got elected in 2000. Before the Iraq War was 2003. So let's say 2002, right? Let's say after 9/11. Work with me here. 9/11 happened. Okay, America. Go get the enemy. Go get the enemy. They tried to kill a lot of motherfuckers. Go get the enemy. Those same cats is now flipping it and saying that you, American, you white boy in Nebraska, man, we are black folk, people of color already know. So you cannot tell us what our place is in this country. That's not you could try to tell us what our place is in this country, but we got history and we know what we're capable of. So you cannot put no definition on that to us. You want to, because that's just I don't know, your DNA. I don't know. And I don't try to figure it out. I mean, I try to figure it out for the audience, just like explain to them. But I don't try to figure that shit. I don't try to figure y'all why the fuck y'all is the way y'all is. Self-destructive. I just don't want to be in a house that's burning. Can somebody tell me? I mean, can somebody give me a like or a subscribe or a hallelujah on that? We don't want to be in a house that's burning. Leave us out of it. You focused on the wrong shit. I did not want to stay on this Oda Mae Brown shit. But it came up because I love that movie, Ghost. I love Sam. I love Oda Mae Brown. I love what she said to Molly, which is a good white girl name.
Exactly.
which is another euphemism for America. Molly, girl, you in trouble. Or you in trouble, girl. You in trouble bad. You is in trouble with these Epstein files. What is that all about? I mean, honestly, we so far, I mean, black folk people, I mean, no, y'all know what we did y'all know what we did to people in the community that was a Jeffrey Epstein.
Exactly.
It was almost self law enforcement. Like if the law didn't catch them, just don't worry. Don't worry. Well, we are now talking about abuse of children. Under we talking about some of the most deprived shit that goes up to the most upper echelons of society and of government. Forget Bill Clinton. You know what I mean? I'm as a Gen Xer, I'm thinking,
Holy Jesus.
Exactly.
I'm saying Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky was a fucking big deal 20 years ago. No, y'all got to take it somewhere else. I saw a meme today that said, K say amen, amen, K. Being that it's Black History Month, I saw a meme with Barack and Michelle Obama and say, I know two people who is not in the Epstein files. And that's them too. What are we
That nigga's tripping.
Talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
what are we really
Not a game.
what are we really talking about here? Really, I don't even want to be in the conversation. I don't. Somebody of my character should not even be in the same conversation. I don't even want to bring it up. But the press, the mainstream media, the internet, they all talking about these Epstein files and what's in it and what they did and blah 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 blah, and people's curiosity is in it. And what are we really talking? What are we getting the brass tacks about? What is that really about? Nobody will really ever know, because people lie, men lie, women lie, blah blah blah. But there's a truth somewhere in there. Only God knows. I can tell you this. My wife said, I'm not God. So I can judge you. Like, I mean, when there's smoke, there's fire. And they said that man's name is in this thing like 30,000 times. And then every time when they dropping something, hold on, let me get rid of that. Hold on. I want to put it as a scroll. All right. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Distractions, perspectives, and where are we? Yeah, like every time, because there was a law that was put out that said you got to put out these files. Then they bullshitted the files to make sure they covered up everything. And then when they put out some, it's heavily redacted. So you now looking through some shit that's redacted, but we all know what it is. Like, and then when it drops, he does something so outrageous, like put out a picture of Barack and Michelle Obama faces on apes, some of the most racist fucking shit. And here we are, 115 years past birth of a nation. I'm holding my head because our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents fought, donated money, time, energy to fight against this shit. And here we are again. And the young folks, y'all need to be paying attention. Get off that goddamn internet.
Exactly.
And off these fucking timelines and pay attention, or get out and just revolt against this shit. You know? But he distracts from it. He is, as dumb as he is, he is smart dumb. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. But he's smart dumb. Like, he know what he's doing, but he can't see past to spite his face. You know, that's what egos do, or cats who got ego problems. Like, he can't see past his own ego, and he'll end up spiting himself. That's how you know he gonna fail, if you're an intelligent person or not prone to fall under some type of cult or some type of, groupthink type shit.
Exactly.
But that's it. When he puts out stuff like that about Barack and Michelle, or he say he gonna invade some, like, yeah, the world got to pay attention about, but that's just to distract from what actually is happening, so they can let the actual facts or I won't say facts, or who the fuck knows, honestly, at this point, who the fuck knows? But whatever's out there, the evidence needs to come out there. And from what I've seen come across my eyes is that if this was anybody else, they couldn't let alone rise to be fucking dog catcher, let alone president of the United States. Not even dog catcher. They would have caught him as a PDFer, and we would have done. And back when we was growing up, the hood would have took care of him. No, but you as a white man, you could do all of this, fool everybody, be a racist on top of that, be a trickster and a huckster and everything on top of that, and raise yourself to the highest office in the government as president of the United States. Get to the comment from Kay. She say, they do that ish because they call themselves keeping us in our place. Racism is still alive, and it's done underhanded, of course. That's why, we got to make money. We got to go into the world with these folks, and we see them for what they are off the top, like in the workplace, in general. Like if I wanted a parking place, when I go to the grocery store, it's like it's like bing, 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 bing. Like I can see fucking red hatters everywhere. You ain't got no nuts. Or What you need is for your nuts to get, or for your nut, what you need is you need an orange PDFer to give you the okay to be a numb nut. And then you get mad for folks calling you out on your PDFing supporting numbnutness. You can't have it both ways, white folk. You're going to have to eventually figure this shit out for yourself. Don't don't incorporate us. Don't incorporate Hispanics or immigrants. Don't incorporate. This is something for you to figure out, and it goes deeper. It really goes deeper than that. If you ask me, if you ask me, ask me at Taking No Shorts Pod, at JGrizzo, at JGreenRadio, at gmail.com. Ask me, how deep does it go? It's a sickness. It's an infectious. It's an infection. It's like COVID. Yo hate and yo racism spreads. You done pass it down to your kids, and to your kids, and now look where you at. Gonna kill you. It's gonna kill you. Meanwhile, people of color just going about their business. Leave us out of it. Leave me alone. Don't walk up on me. Don't do that. Leave me alone. I ain't bothering you, and I don't want you to bother me. How about that? How about that? You can't help it, though. It's in you. Yeah, just like you said, whatever is in me is in you. I'm going to go move on to the, let me get to my banners. Oh, hold on. I said it's Black History Month all year round. I can get to the banner. Damn, I think I lost it. Yeah, I did. Oh. I can't find it. Yeah. So here I am, February the 6th, 2026. It's Black History Month all year round. Always been. You can't deny being a black person in America because you walk around with it on your persons, on your skin. And not until I was in kindergarten, which would have put me at 5, 6 years old, did I know I was black. Because then I went to school with somebody that wasn't black. I was just like, oh, you're a white boy. And he was like, honestly, he didn't care. The white boy didn't. He had no clue. He didn't care. But me, I knew. I was raised to be like, that nigga different. You know what I'm saying? You know, and to be fair, we grew up, especially in the RVA, at least where I came up. Other than like my landlord for my folks, he was a dirtball piece of shit. I hope he dies 3 times in Dante's hell for being a piece of shit racist, super and landlord. And 3 generations of your family shall be cursed on the Whoopi Goldberg front. Because you're just a sucker motherfucker. But other than that, no. I mean, everybody was cool. That in front of me. What they do behind my back, I don't know. What they say behind my back, I don't know. But February is Black History Month. And this fool puts out the most racist shit short of Woodrow Wilson hosting Birth of a Nation at the White House back in 1919, I think. So that was, 107 years ago? So we are now back 107 years ago, America. Thank you very much. And now it's a little leakage. It's a little Macho Man. Oh, I'm doing my Macho Man Randy Savage impression. Oh yeah, it's a little leakage. A little leakage. It's a little leakage of I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Yeah, like No, I don't know if they knew that they were voting for this guy. Now they want to take it back. Yeah. No, you can't take. You vote. I saw some on C-SPAN the other day that a man said, C-SPAN, if anybody, this is another Gen X thing or boomer thing. C-SPAN is a government cable channel that was obligated by the government agency. Got to put something out there for government, or free, with no bias. C-SPAN, look it up. It was channel 25 on my cable dial back in the day. But this dude calls in to C-SPAN and says, I regret voting for this motherfucker. And I heard the call. He was like, well, I didn't vote for this and I didn't vote for that, but he's doing this and I'm doing that. And I'm saying to myself, are you fucking kidding me? You didn't know this man told you when he came down the escalator what he was going to do by calling people out in his rallies and this, that, and the third. You didn't think he was going to do that? And now you telling, then comics, all these podcasters that was platforming him back in 2024 saying, I didn't know it was going to be like this. Guess what? I got a big.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
Fuck you. Man. A big fuck you to y'all guys. And I hope history doesn't forget every single guy or lady. Because history must have forgot every single guy or lady back in Reconstruction. I'm going to go back and I'm going to read up this in 2026 because I'm a history major and a history guy. After the Civil War, 1865, there was a 3-year period from 65 to 68 to where they was getting rid of somebody like this guy that we got in the office today, Andrew Johnson. He was just not with what the rest of the country was trying to do. Move forward, get rid of this bullshit called slavery, get these amendments passed, and let's get on with the country's business. But this president from Tennessee was just an uncle fucker. And then Congress, because midterms happened in 1866 or 68. Well, I get no year right, but it was one of 66 or 68. Said, you know what? Just like in 2026, we're going to have to vote in everybody against this guy so we can make changes. So I encourage everybody that is not a Republican, that's not a MAGA supporter, to run and put yourself out there. It takes a lot of courage, but put yourself out there because the votes are there for you to take over the House, to take over the Senate, so we can do what the country did back in 1868, 66. Then I got us to 68, which would have got us to 28. which got us Ulysses S. Grant, which got us to the Reconstruction years, which, because of what the country has been through, it requires a reconstruction. They attacked the Capitol to overthrow the government. They killed U.S. citizens with a domestic government agency saying, we don't have to obey none of the amendments, none of your rights. Second, fourth, freedom of speech. We could just walk into your door. When I saw that, I said, you mean to tell me they could walk into my house right now, ask for my papers. If I show it to them or not, they can do what they want to me or my family, my kids, my wife. They can put me in a concentration camp, send me to gator bait in 2026 after all of this. So I know Americans, because of our education system, our civics lessons and our history lessons, have not done us a service. But I encourage you, within the earshot of my voice, within eyesight of this stream, please go look at the Reconstruction period between 1865 and 1880. Not to say that everything got right, but there's a reason why people push back. The distractions, he's going to continue to give you he could go on his social media right now and say some of the craziest shit in the mainstream media is going to pick it up and put it out there for y'all to consume. Don't consume it. It's sucker shit. It's just like what I learned as I got older. The loudest person in the room doesn't make him right. Sometimes it's okay to be smooth when you walk into the room.
Exactly.
Sometimes less is better.
Exactly.
But the loudest motherfucker in the room is always the 9 times out of 10. When I looked at it, it was like, yo, when I used to walk into the bar, it'd be like, yeah, it's on, I got it, blah, 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 blah. I was thinking at the time, because of my ego and my lack of, I was like, yo, I got this shit. I got it. Little did I know, I did not have nothing. Everybody was looking at me like, you the sucker. You are a whole sucker. Like Booker T say, you a sucker. Let me get to some of the comments. Mac. Appreciate you. Scorpion. Yeah, man, I threw my back out last week, man. Fucking around with this ice out here. And went to sleep, woke up, Luger had me. But no, yeah, distractions and perspective, man. If 140 million Americans voted in the 2024 election, let's say half of that. Let's say 70 million Americans vote in the midterm. I think it's going to be more than that. I'm going to split the difference. So 70, 140 is 35. Let's say 110 million Americans vote in the midterm. We would need 60% of that. 60% of 110 is 60 plus 5. That's 70 million Americans to vote and to press their side. Because their side thought that it was Democrats and the left that was child trafficking kids in a pizza place somewhere in D.C. And they were willing to run up on the guy. In the meantime, they was the ones that doing it. Usually, if there's one finger pointed at you, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 pointed back. If you pointing a finger at somebody, that's 4 fingers pointed back at you. Forget the fact that they billionaires and zillionaires out here putting out false information, tricking people off the internet. I got off TikTok last week because of the new update. So if folks looking for me on TikTok, fuck them. Eat a dick. Pause. Like, I'm not, it's bad enough I gotta sucker myself out to all this. But they's like, yo, you could pinpoint me to my direct address. Okay, you could pinpoint me. Come on. The Bible tells us to listen twice as much as you talk. The loud ones is normally the weakest ones around. Amen. Yeah, I had to learn it the hard way. I was like, you too loud. Shut the fuck up. I was like, almost turned into a Buddha. Scorpion. But I mean, it's something to say about that. I think, people will come around. I definitely am not fooled by most people coming around. I just think real ones know what's going on. What's real? Okay. If I got to describe that to you, like, put it this way, I'll give you what's real. I'll take it out of my culture and my world. You voted for this guy 3 times, right? 16, 20, and 24. How your life doing? How much is your eggs? How much is your gas? How much is college for your kid? Yours, not mine. I know you don't like me. I know you hate me. I know you hate my kids. I know you hate my color. I know you hate my kind. So forget about me. How is it for you? I'm going to be all right because I know my people's taught me how to persevere. 250, 400 years of living over here taught me how to get it. But how is you doing it? How is yours doing it? I see you out there with a sign, I have no legs. Sucking and jiving for motherfuckers. Yeah, they. But you voted for him 3 times. And he and his friends are way more richer. That's my Elmer Fuddism coming in. But they got it. They got it because they got it from you. They know they're not going to get it from me. They got it from you. You know why? I'm going to end the podcast like this. Because you a whole sucker. How Booker T say? A sucker. And for that, my name is Jay Grizzly Green, host of Taking No Shorts podcast. This is episode 127. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast. And every Friday around this time, you can catch the live stream at the following streaming channels: Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at Taking No Shorts Pod. If you rock with anything you heard tonight, do me a favor, give me a like. Also, it would be even better if you comment up under the stream. Yeah, Shy, I appreciate it, man. Love you, bro. Hey, man, I just hurt my back and I just wasn't up to it. It's rare. People forget, like, content creators know what it's like to put out content, but a lot of people forget, like, it's effort. But we do it because we got an audience. Folks are rocking with us, and I appreciate the audience that's been rocking with me from the jump, from episode 1 to episode 127 now. So for everybody in the comments, that's Karen, Shy E, love you too, bro. Oh yeah, man. Bro, that shit was crazy. That back shit. When I was giving that ice up out that driveway, man, I took every drug known to man. I still couldn't kick out of that shit. But yeah, man, I appreciate you and your support. Until next week, guys. Episode 128 will be out next week. I'll clip this up. Oh, I forgot the Super Bowl. Let me get this shit out here. I think I deleted it. I did. I deleted the Super Bowl. Chiron. Guess what? I don't give no fucks about the Super Bowl. Guess what I give a fuck about? I want to watch Green Day and I want to watch the halftime with Bad Bunny. Everything else, because my team, none of my team, my son's team didn't make it. My team didn't make it. I hope it's a good game. It's going to be on TV, but I'm watching to make sure I support everything that's going against this current regime, Green Day and Bad Bunny. And I encourage everybody else to do that because they got some other alternate programming that they're going to put out with some other bullshit ass artists that, they're going to lie. And just like in the inauguration, they're going to say the crowd was bigger than Barack's. Barack Obama had crazy numbers and some cold ass shit. And this cat couldn't even get a third of that. So look, don't let people tell you your shit stink when you know it don't. When you shit, it smells spectacular. Don't let them tell it. I'm out. Jay Grizzly Green. Bye. Bye.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Now I gotta talk, we all gotta be quiet. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
And now your host, Taking No Shorts podcast, Jay Grizzly.